cess and surcharges in entirety to the central government. And the pitch that Madhya Pradesh government has made is that these cess and surcharges should be capped at 10%. That's one recommendation related to the vertical devolution. They also said that, well, if that cannot be done, well, it actually, Madhya Pradesh government pitched for going some further, that not only cesses and surcharges, but also non-tax revenues of the central government should be included in the divisible pool. And it then made this recommendation for vertical division of the resources, that if all the central government revenues, including cesses and surcharges, and non-tax revenues are included in the divisible pool, so all gross revenues are shared, then the current division of resources between the center and state, which is at 41%, is fine. If that is not done, then at least the 48% of the gross tax revenues. Now remember, gross tax revenues of the central government include cesses and surcharges, right? So they are saying that 48% of that gross tax revenue should be allocated to the state governments. This is very similar, I should say, not identical to, but very similar to what many other states have said. Other states have said that that 50% of the divisible pool should be given to the state governments. This has been easily about 16 or 17 of the states that we visited have made that recommendation. So that is about vertical devolution. On horizontal, how the revenues, how the share of the states should be divided among the 28 states. That is a more complicated exercise for the commissions traditionally. And what they do is often multiple criteria are used. As an example, 15, so I'll use 15th commission as the example, and that will also help us understand what the recommendations of the government of Madhya Pradesh are. So 15th Finance Commission said that, look, we'll take 15% of the divisible pool, which we shall divide based on population. So, if Madhya Pradesh has, let's say, 7% share in the national population, then Madhya Pradesh gets 7% out of that 15% of the divisible pool, right? And similarly, every state, based on its share in the population, gets, meaning its share in the national population, gets the share within that 15% of the divisible pool. Similarly, area has been used. 15th Finance Commission also said that, okay, 15% will be, it divided 15% of the divisible pool based on the area. So if Madhya Pradesh has, let's say, 10% share in the national total area of India, then it gets 10% out of that 15%. So this is how it is done. I'll give you a comparison of what the 15th Finance Commission recommended, which has been the basis for the divisible pools division among the states during the 5-year period of the 15th Finance Commission, and what the recommendation of the Madhya Pradesh government is. So population was 15% in the 15th Finance Commission. Madhya Pradesh government suggested that we do only 10% based on population. Area was 15% also for the 15th Finance Commission. And here let me see, this is area is here. So area is also 10%. Okay. Forest and ecology is 10% for the 15th Finance Commission, and Madhya Pradesh's recommendation is that that should be raised from 10 to 15%. Okay, so instead of 10, 15%, and so population 10%, area 10%, forest cover 15%. Um, Now, one of the very important criteria that especially last 4 or 5 commissions have used is the income distance. So there is a very large component of equity objective in how the successive commissions have divided this share of the states. In a nutshell, what it does is it gives a larger devolution of that part of the slice of the divisible pool. The smaller is the per capita income. So it takes the distance of the per capita income, of the given state from the richest state with the highest per capita income, and based on how much that distance is, the allocation is given to the particular state. So on income distance criterion, 15th Finance Commission had given out 45% of the total pie. So this is a very large share, 45%, almost close to half of it was done by the income distance. Madhya Pradesh naturally having a low per capita income relative to the richest, which could be either Haryana or Telangana, naturally benefits from that. So on income distance, however, Madhya Pradesh said instead of 45%, 40%. What it added instead, out of that 45%, it said do 40% for income distance, but introduce a new criterion, which is multidimensional poverty. Meaning the higher the poverty, the larger the devolution to that particular state. So 5% of the weight it assigns to then multidimensional poverty. Then the remaining part for the 15th were tax and fiscal effort was 2.5%. That is, how much the state raises its own taxes. That was also included, and 2.5% weight was given to that. And demographic performance was the last variable that the 15th Finance Commission used. This was the total fertility rate. That the lower the total fertility rate, the larger the devolution. That was given a weight of 12.5. So that total sums up 100 for 15th. Now I'll give you the remaining criteria that the state of Madhya Pradesh has suggested. Madhya Pradesh has also suggested that we give some weight to the SC/ST population. So in addition to 10% weight, 10% weight given to population, it said about another 10% should be given to the SC/ST population. So that adds another 10%. Demographic performance, TFR, the total fertility rate, it reduces the weight to 5%. And then it leaves about 5% more. Tax effort, it takes also 2.5%. And then contribution of states GSDP to the total GDP of the country, of the 28 states really, excluding the union territories, another 2.5%. All right, so I'll now read out very quickly in one go what Madhya Pradesh has suggested for horizontal devolution. Population 10%, states share in SC/ST population 10%, demographic performance, that is total fertility rate, 5%, income distance 40%, multidimensional poverty index 5%, area 10%, forest cover 15%, tax effort 2.5%, contribution to the total GSDP, that's 2.5%. So altogether, that's 100%. So those are the recommendations. And there were certain recommendations on local body grants, increasing those grants to the local bodies. Also, division should be more between urban and rural. Madhya Pradesh recommendation is that it should be 40 for urban and 60 for rural. And similarly, some recommendations on the disaster relief. So that's the total sum. We'll take the questions.
Manoj, Mike, just one by one.
Thank you, sir.
Please.
Sir, I am Manoj Sharma. I am from News 18. My question is, you must have heard that observation of the Supreme Court. Are we not creating a class of parasites? So you have been visiting, as you have pointed out, some 17 states so far. So how these freebies schemes or these populist measures by state governments, not only in Madhya Pradesh, in the entire country, how these schemes are affecting financial health of that particular state? And as a finance commissioner and as finance experts, what do you think about this? What is your take?
So right now I speak on behalf of the Commission, and since no decisions have been made by the Finance Commission, I'm afraid I can't answer you that question. इस विषय पे मैं थोड़ा बहुत बोल चुका हूं पहले, तो उसमें आपको मिल जाएगा। अभी फाइनेंस कमीशन की बात करें, अभी देखिए यहाँ पे पूरा कमीशन बैठा हुआ है, तो अभी मैं सिर्फ कमीशन की बात करूंगा।
मैं नितेंद्र शर्मा, फ्री प्रेस जर्नल से।
हाँ, सारी चीजें जो की हैं वो वेल विद इन एक्सेप्टेबल पैरामीटर्स में हैं। इस पर विचार करेगा कमीशन, पर क्या निर्णय होगा वो मैंने आपको पहले ही कह चुका हूं कि निर्णय के बारे में अभी क्योंकि कोई निर्णय हुआ नहीं है, मैं कुछ कह नहीं सकता।
सर,
So as I said, you're all asking questions about what the commission will do. Commission can't tell you yet because no such decisions have been made.
Anil,
So,
mic देना please. Please, mic
कृपया
देना.
अपना परिचय दे दें।
Hello. Sir, I am Ankur from Times of India.
Yeah.
So, in principle, do you agree that devolution amount of MP, which is 7.85% as of now, should be increased?
I would not say one or the other way because I speak for the commission.
You just said that MP had a very, impressive presentation, and we are doing a lot of new things.
Anil,
That is what the government also said. Discussion. How can I say anything about MP without saying anything else, without saying about somebody else who you want MP to be increased? I have to also then tell you something about whom am I going to reduce? Right? If I were to ask you that if you want to raise MP to say 9%, who will you reduce? You don't know that. I don't know that. So that question cannot be answered because this is a percentage issue. Therefore, you increase one, you have to reduce somebody. You cannot increase one without reducing somebody. Which means that, one has to ultimately decide what the criteria are going to be that the commission will adopt. And based on those criteria, then what is the division of those resources?
last question, Anil.
सर, अतुल
Anil ji,
पाठक
का निर्णय।
हाँ ठीक है, आप
रिकमेंडेशंस हमारी अल्टीमेटली ऑफ कोर्स निर्णय फाइनल जो है उस सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट
अभी बहुत सारे राज्य मुफ्त में बहुत सारी स्कीमें दे रहे हैं, तो क्या आपके फार्मूले में ये शामिल होगा कि उन राज्यों को और पैसा दे दिया जाए?
आप सभी बातें भविष्य की पूछ रहे हैं मुझे।
ये इसका एक मिनट क्या ये फार्मूले में शामिल होगा आपके?
Sorry?
आपकी अनुशंसाओं में?
नहीं, कुछ कह नहीं, ये तो सब कमीशन को निर्णय लेना है ना इन सब बारों में। इस
Thank
सब
you.
बातों पे पांचों जो मेंबर्स हैं कमीशन
पांचों
के,
यहीं बैठे हैं सर।
नहीं तो अभी हमारे आपस में जो है इस विषय में कोई चर्चा तो हुए बिना निर्णय कोई भी कैसे ले सकता
आप
है?
बहुत सारे राज्यों में घूम आए हैं, कई राज्यों
लेकिन मुझे
Thank you, sir.
दुख है इस बात का कि आपको
Thank you so much for. उनको लंच के लिए आमंत्रित है. Thank you so much.